Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Fastball Sports Network WWE podcast. I am Frank. That is Mark. Mark, how are we doing today?
We're hanging in there. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. We have a fun little show here where we are going to predict all 60 people to enter the Royal Rumble. That's 30 for the men and 30 for the women. Mark says he was 60 for 60. So we're gonna have to check that out and see if it holds up. But he's feeling pretty confident.
I'd be shocked if I got any wrong at this point.
All right, so there you go. He'd be shocked if he got a single person wrong. But before we head over to the Royal Rumble, we have to talk about a few things that happened this week on WWE television because it was an eventful week for the main event scene, I'd say. First, Adam Pearce becomes the number one contender for the WWE Universal Championship, and he will fight at the Royal Rumble against Roman Reigns. Do you see this match actually happening?
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of people are saying they think it's gonna be a swerve and they think something's gonna happen from now till then. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be bad. I think the match itself will be really silly. We'll probably have Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and whoever else involved with it to try to even the odds. Obviously, Roman's gonna win. I think it happens. What do you think?
I really don't know. I really don't know. I want to say it doesn't. I was actually really cool on the idea of Shinsuke Nakamura once he beat Daniel Bryan. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's something I didn't see coming, and I thought that would have been awesome. And then I completely forgot that Pierce was in the match. I thought Shinsuke had won, and then I remembered that Adam Pearce was coming down, and I was like, here we go. But I thought he was still gonna pull it off some way. Pierce was gonna slip up or just he was gonna be able to fight off Reigns and Uso for a second, but I don't know. I'd like to still see Shinsuke. I think that would be a really cool match. But as of right now, I think I agree with you. I think Adam Pearce is gonna happen. They're tweeting all the graphics and stuff like that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's tune in Friday night and see what happens. I guess maybe they just didn't feel like putting anyone that was just gonna lose anyway against Roman Reigns. So maybe that's the thinking, I guess. But
Yeah.
I think someone still could have been in this spot and had a good time with it. All right, but after that we got Drew McIntyre now with COVID. Cut actually a pretty decent promo on Goldberg on Monday. Does this kill the feud for you at all? With him most likely definitely being sidelined, obviously the Monday that just happened, probably next Monday, and then he could be cleared with COVID's 10-day protocol. Assuming WWE is following the COVID 10-day protocol, he would possibly be able to be cleared for the go-home show, which would be not the next Raw, but the Raw after that.
I mean, it wasn't going to be much of a build anyway. I'm sure they would have gotten Goldberg for the go home. Goldberg probably would have cut a promo and they would have played on the big screen in front of Drew. It's not really much of a build anyway when Goldberg's around, and it kind of just hurts it even more. But it doesn't really matter. They'll both get their jabs in now, virtually saying that you're next. The other one's going to say you're mine. It doesn't really matter.
Sure. Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you there. I don't think it really matters. This was never going to be a feud that was heavy in them fighting each other on Raw, very physical on Raw. So I think it'll be fine. Unfortunately, it was lackluster for me in the beginning. I wasn't excited about it, so I'm not any more excited now. Maybe if the two of them got together and brawled one day, it could have been exciting, but I'm just not excited for it. I guess we'll just have to see.
The big problem was an hour before the show, they're like, all right, Triple H is coming on. And it was okay, this could be big. He's gonna make an announcement of sorts, something cool is about to happen. This is impactful. And I turned it on because I don't usually watch Raw. I've said it, Raw's really bad. But I turned it on. I was like, all right, let's see what we're gonna do. Let's see what Triple H is gonna say. And then it Randy and Triple H did their thing, and it was just lame. And then Randy coaxed him to do the fight by saying, Stephanie has your balls, which is a line we've heard probably 35 times over the course of Triple H's last 5 feuds. It's just, give me a break.
Well, that actually brings me to my next segment. That's a great segue. Do you think that this with Randy is setting up more Randy versus The Fiend, or do you think maybe The Fiend captured Triple H and brought him to his dungeon, and this could be a Triple H versus the Fiend feud.
No, I don't think. I think Triple H was strictly they needed ratings. There was the big college football championship. They wanted, you put Triple H in like the slot, you get some viewership. I don't think he's coming back to wrestle at this WrestleMania. I'd be surprised, but I guess it's possible. But no, this felt like a last ditch. We were supposed to do Randy versus Drew. Let's just throw Triple H in here to try to get some views.
Because the weird thing about Triple H on was he just disappeared at the end of that Raw. So we saw Randy get hit with a fireball, which is a whole conversation in its own. But we didn't see what happened to Triple H. So I'm gonna be interested to see if there's a follow-up or if Triple H is just like on NXT tonight. He doesn't usually show up on NXT unless it's like something significant. But I'm just curious to see when the next time we'll see him is, and if they'll like acknowledge the fact that he just disappeared into thin air on Monday, and see if maybe that leads to something.
Yeah, I'll see.
All right.
It's probably not. They're probably just
probably not. Right. It's probably not. We are expecting it to not be. All right. Let's just go right to the Rumble. We usually do our Rumble picks, but we'll save it till the end today because we're gonna announce our field. Okay.
Like, how do we do this properly? Because
we will go ladies first.
Okay. Am I going first?
So the first 6 names I'm going to No, so I'm going to read off the first 6 names. So those are confirmed, so we should both have them.
Yeah.
Those are Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke. They are all confirmed. I don't see any of them being taken out for any ridiculous reason.
Not this match. They don't have options.
I was about to say there's only so many women on the roster right now, so finding 30 to fill out, they're going to need all hands on deck from the entire main roster on both Raw and SmackDown. So with that being said, I mean, Raw and SmackDown were kind of easy, right? You just put everybody in.
Yeah, Lacey, Peyton, Tamina, Liv, Ruby, Natty, and Billie Kay. Is that everyone? Sonya, Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross, yes. Okay. You said, yeah. So that's you have Tamina, Naomi, and Lana. Lana was the other one. She's hurt though. I
don't have Naomi or Lana on my list.
I have Naomi on my list. I just
You're gonna be upset.
If it's not then when she's been gone for so long, we don't even know where she is. I actually looked to check to see if she was still a part of the active roster, to see if just something happened. And now she is. Yeah, she is right now.
All right. Well, I say no.
Listen, I don't doubt it. All right, so just again, the names that we have for Raw and SmackDown are, in addition to those confirmed names we just mentioned, are Peyton Royce, Lacey Evans, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax. I also put Alexa Bliss in here.
I put Alexa. I didn't put Shayna.
Okay. You didn't put Shayna Baszler?
No, I'm assuming Shayna's going to fight Asuka at the Rumble.
Okay. So that's where we differ then. I also have Lana if she's healthy, Nikki Cross, Naomi, Billie Kay, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Natty, and Tamina. So that's every single name on the main roster we just named, besides for Asuka, who's the champion.
And Carmella's going to be fighting Sasha. Carmella,
who's going to be fighting Sasha Banks, which is I also excluded her from my SmackDown list of women. After that, so I have 19 total names. You probably have in the realm of 17 or 18. You didn't put Naomi or Shayna Baszler, right?
No, I have 3 legends and about 10 NXT girls.
All right, so let's just go to NXT next. I have Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
Candice LeRae.
Yep.
Ember Moon.
Yeah.
Dakota Kai.
Yep.
Raquel Gonzalez.
Yes.
Io Shirai.
Yep.
Shotzi Blackheart.
No.
Okay, you don't have Shotzi. I also have Aaliyah.
I don't have Aaliyah, no.
And Toni Storm.
I have Toni, yeah.
Okay, so I added Shotzi Blackheart and Aaliyah, and you added. Is there anyone else from NXT
that I have? Mercedes Martinez.
Okay.
She was like with Retribution for a hot minute. I also have Mia Yim, who I don't know if you put on
Oh, as
as Maze or
I
Maze.
didn't. What's her? She's Retribution, right? What's her
She's
Retribution name?
Mace, Mase, right?
No, Mace is one of the guys, isn't it?
Is she Reckoning? Is she Mace?
Reckoning. She's
All right,
Reckoning. She's
sure,
Reckoning.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down Mia Yim. I didn't write down her whatever name. Um,
Okay.
I have Chelsea Green, who I don't know if she's going to be healthy for it.
I also have Chelsea Green on here, but I didn't know how to classify her as like Raw, SmackDown, NXT because like she was
Yeah.
just kind of she was on SmackDown for a second and then got hurt that match. So
If she's
um
healthy, I'd imagine she gets in this match, right? That seems like a
mhm.
safe bet. Um,
The last person I have on my list is Mickie James. She rounds out my 30.
I have Mickey as well,
Okay.
but I
So
also
then
have Xia Li as well in for NXT.
okay, is she the one that just debuted?
She was like in the Rumble like last 2 years ago.
Okay.
She like does some stuff, but yeah, she came back. She wears Sonya's stuff. She wears Sonya's like UFC outfit.
Okay.
So like she was just on NXT the other day. I think she'll be in it. And I have three legends, Mickey being one of them. I also said Melina and Beth Phoenix.
Okay. That's
I
fun.
figure
Beth Phoenix always seems to come back. She's like,
they have her around. She's obviously Edge's wife. She does commentary. I mean, they just have Melina for Legends Night. Maybe they work something out. You know what? There's one girl that I wanted to get in that I forgot that I want to put in, but I don't know who I'm going to put her in for. I'll put her in for. I'll put her in for Melina. Melina's gone. Uh, I'm going to put her in. I'm going to put Eva Marie in.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Eva Marie is
Eva
coming
Marie
in for
in for
Melina.
that's fun. I've heard rumors about this and like
There's
in
been the rumors and it hasn't happened. So Mickey James and Beth
nuclear.
Phoenix will be the only legends.
Okay. So yeah, so I only have Mickie James as legend. So we both pretty much kept it pretty close to the vest in terms of keeping the stars in. And honestly, this women's division deserves it. This Rumble's pretty packed in terms of talent. Like when you just look at the all-around talent of this. But I did write down some notable omissions for myself anyway. I wrote Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. Obviously, Becky Lynch is not being in this Rumble. She just had a kid. She just had a kid. But I just, we didn't forget about the name. We just are acknowledging that she's not going to be here. Ronda Rousey, I think they're waiting. I think if she did come back, she would be waiting for fans at this point.
I think there is a chance Ronda wins.
I'm not completely like counting it out. I just think right now, like gun to my head, yes or no, I'm going to say no right
The
now.
thing is, she's a big deal, but she's not a Cena or a Punk or like someone that you need, or the Rock or like someone that you need the fan
Not
pop
for the
for.
crowd. No, I
Yeah.
agree. She is still a huge name that will bring in fan revenue, but in terms of like actual crowd reaction at the stadium, I agree with what you're saying. They don't need fans there for her, I guess.
But you also want to think that I could see her winning the Rumble, winning at Mania, and then Becky coming out the night like the Raw after Mania and like stepping up to her.
That would be really fun. That would be really cool. Another admission I have is just I put Trish Stratus and Lita because it always feels like they are, the two that if there's like legends involved, like those are the two that everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
But I think with COVID right now, Trish, I think she said she was done after the match with Charlotte at Evolution a few years ago. So, and then Lita could definitely come. I could see Lita coming back and going 15 minutes in this Rumble for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they have the ties with Kelly and Michelle McCool still. Like, there's possibilities, but things are complicated with COVID.
Yeah. And then the last thing I put was a new superstar. There have been rumors for a few different women that are coming to WWE. Eva Marie was one of them. I didn't have one, so that's why I just put new superstars as a whole. I know that there's another free agent out there.
Is it who's like the big name that like ever is it Tessa Blanchard or is she AEW?
Yeah, she was TNA one, right?
I think so. There's like a big like
She
female
won
that
the
everyone
world.
wants.
She won the world championship in TNA.
Okay.
So yeah, so I know that she's out there floating around. Would I be absolutely shocked to see her in the Rumble this year? Probably not. Like, probably not.
Maybe AJ Lee, maybe.
AJ Lee would be a lot of fun. There's rumors that Punk's have been coming. Punk has, wanted back into wrestling if he could find the right story and all the stuff that he said. So, maybe they both make their debut. That would be really something. Again, Punk would almost feel like we're robbed without like a fan reaction.
Yeah.
Um, the AJ Styles, I was watching the AJ Styles, and maybe it's the editing that they did, but it was great, great, great. Uh, you look at Roman's face because that's what the camera zoomed in on because the letters aren't up yet, right? So AJ's music hits, and obviously we don't know what AJ's music is, but it's just this slow like build that AJ's music has, and you see this blue pop up on the screen, and then you just see Roman, and he's like looking at the camera like all confused, and then the word phenomenal pops up on the screen, and that was everyone's cue. They knew exactly who it was, and the crowd just burst at that
Yeah.
point. It was actually really, really well done. Where I know, like when it happened initially, we were like making fun of it, like why are they showing Roman's dumb face? But the reason they were showing Roman's dumb face is because nobody was going to get it until
The
that
thing
word
is,
popped up.
yes, but they missed the cue. Like they should have showed Roman looking confused, but then
Yeah,
they should have had the screen when it said
yeah.
phenomenal.
That is tonight, I believe. They are doing that documentary about like how he entered the Rumble, and he was talking about how nervous he was, and like there's a few other guys on it that was talking about how like he's the best, and it took him too long to get to WWE and all that stuff. I'm actually pretty excited for it.
That's
I
a
gotta watch
shame
that.
because a documentary like that, I feel like Jericho would be like perfect for because Jericho was right there with them for a lot of that stuff. They obviously can't have Jericho on it, but I feel like
Yeah, that would be cool.
that'd have been good.
But they have all those guys. They have all the like the Samoa Joes and that he fought with on TNA, and I'm pretty sure Jeff Hardy's on it, so they'll have some insight for those guys that were with him for longer. But yeah, so I guess the women, who's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble? We do it every week. We'll keep going. Have you changed your mind?
I really don't even know. Dude. Like,
It's good though. Like I'm cool with not knowing. I don't want to know. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
want to be surprised.
yes and no because I agree with you. I don't want to know, but like we should have an idea, and like our idea is that there's only 4 credible women. That's not a good idea. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, okay. If you go down this list, I know you hate Nia Jax, but I definitely feel like she could win this
there's
match.
no shot.
She
Absolutely no
could
chance.
definitely win.
No chance.
Like if they just decide to go with the big person for like
No,
the first time ever in the Royal
no.
Rumble, she could win.
I would. I'd
100%
bet.
she could.
I'd bet hundreds of dollars she loses this one.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying she could win. I'm not saying she's going to.
I mean, here's your thing though. It's Charlotte who's in a storyline about Lacey Evans sleeping with her father. It's Bianca who doesn't even have a storyline. She's just doing random stuff with Bailey every week and like Sasha sometimes. And who else do we think has a shot at this?
I just realized I put Nia Jax on this list twice.
You deprive someone of a spot.
I did. I'm like looking. I see Nia Jax at 1 and Nia Jax at 10.
Like that's
Oh
that's
boy.
my beef though. If Bianca was coming out there every week, be like, I'm gonna win the Rumble. Like this is my dream. I'm doing this, and like she's building toward that. That'd be awesome. If Charlotte was like, I'm gonna win, like I wouldn't like it, but like at least like
I think
do
Bailey
something.
has a chance. I
Again,
don't
but
think
that's because she's Bailey, not because there's a good story that's like
I think Rhea Ripley has a chance.
same thing.
Uh I mean, like it depends on how bad they want to push somebody. You know what I mean? That really all depends on how bad they want to push somebody. Like they've been known to like pick the underdog every once in a while when it comes to a Royal Rumble, like this new up and coming. Like, what about somebody like Toni Storm? Like they just put her on, they have her a dominant Rumble, and then she was very, very big on NXT UK. I don't think she's grasped as much footing in the NXT, the American version of NXT, but it's somebody that's obviously credible enough where you could just throw her into that main event spotlight, and it'll be
Yeah.
fine. I would love to see maybe like an Io Shirai or an Ember Moon. I just don't know if they're going to run with that. And then obviously, like if I'm fantasy booking it and like there's somebody that I want to win that I think is like underachieved or like doesn't get the respect they deserve. After watching the Liv Morgan documentary, I'd love to see Liv Morgan win. I don't think she has a chance in the world. Like I want to be very clear, but like that would be something. I think that would be so cool, especially after they put out that documentary on her. Like now people know. Like, okay, thanks, Mom. Nope, I'm recording something, but thank you. Appreciate. It's okay. God damn it. Can you edit that or we just gonna keep
No, we can
going?
just continue on. But
Uh,
I don't know. It's just I think that's the
that's my
biggest
lovely
issue.
mother, everybody.
I think that's the biggest issue here, though. It's just like the people we named are like credible. That's why they have a shot. Like there are like 4 or 5 credible women that aren't like named Becky Lynch and the other girls. So it's like it's tough.
Um, yeah, I really don't know.
I'm gonna take Bianca. I still think Bianca makes the most sense, but I don't know.
At this point, I just want to pick not Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like if anyone but Charlotte wins, I'll be surprised and happy. Except for Bianca, I won't be surprised if Bianca wins. But I just want to pick not Charlotte. But yeah, I'll stick with Bianca. I think we've been saying that all series. We've been saying that. So I think that we need to stick with that. Stick with our guns 3 weeks out. All right. Let's go from the women's to the men. And the men, kind of a cluster of people here. Now we talk about the credibility of the women, like Bailey being able to win just because she's Bailey, Rhea Ripley being able to win just because she's Rhea Ripley. The men have people that are equally as credible but have no chance of winning. That's why I love the men's one, because AJ Styles is most likely not winning this Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Like probably not going to win. So let's go over again. We have the confirmed ones, which are AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, and Otis are
Okay.
the 5 confirmed members. So from there on Raw, I have Braun Strowman.
I don't have Braun.
Okay. I'm not sure if he's going to be healthy. So could be in, could not be. I have Elias.
I don't have Elias.
You don't have Elias either. Okay. Jeff Hardy.
I don't have Jeff. I should probably have Jeff Hardy. I don't have Jeff Hardy.
Morrison.
I have Morrison.
Keith Lee.
Yep.
Kofi and Woods.
Yep.
Miz.
Yep.
Riddle.
No.
No Riddle.
No Riddle.
Ricochet.
Yep.
And Sheamus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
So
Ali.
anyone that okay.
And I have R-Truth as well.
Okay. That's
So
somebody I didn't even think about. Okay.
that's it for Raw, I think. Those are the differences.
All right. So for SmackDown, I have Apollo.
Yep.
Big E.
Yep.
Dolph.
Yep.
Jey Uso.
Yep.
Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Corbin.
Yes.
Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
No, but I should have Shinsuke in.
And a returning Seth Rollins.
I actually don't have Seth. I don't think bringing back Seth to lose is the move, but like maybe he'll come back on like SmackDown.
I feel like this is the one case, the Royal Rumble is the one case where you can bring them back and like if they lose the match, it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like if he comes back and has a good showing in the Rumble and then just loses, like I can honestly see number 1 entrant like Seth Rollins' music hits.
That'd be cool.
Because like, oh, that's the other thing we forgot to discuss. Let's finish this and then I want to talk about the long man. I want to talk about who you think the long man is going to be for both Rumbles, because that's always interesting to me. Like they didn't have a long man last year because of the way Brock Lesnar dominated the whole thing, but usually they have that guy/girl that just goes the, unlimited amount of time, and they usually put on a great show too. But yeah.
I should probably have Elias, Jeff, and Shinsuke on the list. I went with 4 legends. It was probably an aggressive idea, and then 4 NXT people as well.
You went with Ali. I went with Ricochet. I think those 2 are pretty much interchangeable.
I put them both.
Oh, you do have Ricochet.
I don't have Jeff or Elias, which they're probably both in this match, if I'm being honest.
Okay. And then from NXT, I have, and this is really this is the total like random who they're going to decide to put in this match. So I have Cole.
Yeah.
I have Ciampa.
Yep.
I have Damian Priest.
Yes.
And Karrion Kross.
I have Finn Balor.
Okay. So he was one of my notable left outs. I just thought like he was he's a champ. He's probably gonna be the champ come the Royal Rumble. So I just left him off. But like if he's in, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like by any stretch. Johnny Gargano was another guy who I left out. Where if I hear his music hit during the Rumble,
of
not
course.
surprised at
Yeah.
all. You just kind of had to pick people. And I just went with momentum and like big names. And like Ciampa is one of those guys where he says he's never going to wrestle on the main roster. So anytime you get a chance to like throw him in one of these shows and just kind of see his intensity and what he's got, I mean, how cool would that be if one of those guys won like a Cole or a Ciampa or even a Balor? Like
I
that
think
would be so cool.
Cole is like the big money ticket. You give Cole the Rumble.
I agree. I think Ciampa would be cool too. And I think the fans would really get behind that too. Um, for notable and then you said you have a bunch of legends. The only person that I have,
I have four legends. I have Big Show. I have Carlito. I have Wade Barrett. He's not a legend, but a return. And I have Booker T.
okay. The
Um,
only person I have back in terms of legends is Edge.
okay, I got to get Shinsuke, Jeff, and Elias on here somewhere. I'll figure it out later. But it's they're all,
You
it
don't think
sucks. They're all going to be in it, but they're not going to win. So it's like,
you don't think Edge gets back for this Rumble?
no.
You think he's still hurt, or you just don't
I
think
think that'd be lame, honestly, if he came back again for this. I think that'd be lame. Like
I feel like
people would be you would pop. People would pop. And be. I think that'd be really lame. I would rather him come back to Raw after.
so you're saying bring him back Monday night after. It's just start
I'd rather that than him come back again in the Rumble and lose for no reason.
So here's my thing. Sometimes they use the Rumble to start feuds, and now with Randy seemingly tied up, and it's good. I'm glad we're not doing that again. Like I'm glad we're not doing Randy Edge again, even though their matches were fine. Who do you see Randy Orton? I'm sorry. Who do you see Edge feuding with if he comes back? All right. You know what? Save it. I'll ask you again in a few weeks.
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins would be a lot of fun. Was he the one who threatened to break his neck?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was sick. And
Really
John Spears, it was sick.
All right. So notable admissions. I have John Cena, The Fiend, Johnny Gargano, who we talked about. And again, just a lack of any new addition, free agent AJ Styles type of, return. I don't think you had anybody like that either, right?
No.
I see that there are a few guys that they just trademark the names and stuff, but I don't think they're big enough to put in the Royal Rumble. But maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, there's Lars. Lars could be in it.
That whole thing is a mess.
Montez Ford could be in it.
Yeah, Ford Dawkins. I didn't put Bobby Roode in mine, but I mean,
I didn't either.
I guess he could definitely be in it.
I didn't put Riddle in. My rationale was he's going to win the title. He's going to win the U.S. title that night, so he won't be in it. But like he'll probably be in it.
Lucha House Party. I did not put any of the Lucha House Party in my thing. They have been on Raw like pretty consistently. I could definitely see one of them or both of them being in if they feel they need to fill spots.
Titus could be in it.
None of the members of Retribution, even though I think that this would be a good spot for Retribution to like look dominant, but I think we're past that now. I'm not worried about building Retribution anymore. You're right, Titus. MVP was another guy I think I left out, but
MVP, Mojo, Cedric Alexander, like all those guys could be in it.
Raleigh. I hope they don't waste a spot on Mojo. Somebody's gonna look really good in this Rumble and then never be heard from again. I'm just wondering who it's gonna be. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like that's what they do. They make a guy like Mojo Raleigh look really good, and then
I can see like Woods have like a sick showing in this, and just like they don't mention it again.
Does Kofi get his spot? He didn't get a spot last year. Does Kofi get his spot back?
He's hurt right now.
Is he?
He was in it last year.
He was in it, but I'm saying like, does he get his like wacky spot?
He has like a jaw thing right now. I mean, like if he's healthy, I'm sure they'll put him in to do that, right?
Yeah, the girl who did it last year was Casey Catanzaro.
Yeah,
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't have her amongst my field right now just because she hasn't really made any waves in NXT, but I could see her being back in it too for the women.
There's so many girls on NXT. They should really start bringing them up. Like
Yeah, there are. They've
there's
pretty much
so
expanded
many.
that roster. Where Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley are like, when are they coming? At this
Yeah.
point. The women's division in WWE is I would say one of the bright spots of the company right now, because even the main roster, they need a few more people on Raw, but it's pretty packed. Like it's pretty hard to win a championship. They're going to need to put together more weirdo tag teams.
I don't agree, but we don't have to argue about this. It's just the women's division is not a bright spot for me in the slightest bit. Oscar's had the belt forever without a
Well,
without a
like I said, they
single
need a few more
contender.
people on Raw, but I think NXT and SmackDown it's pretty packed right now.
Yeah, like
There
they're
are four
fine.
women on SmackDown that deserve that belt. There are a bunch in NXT, and then Raw is Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte, Nia Jax. Like
So lame.
it's just like
And that's the
I think the
3 hour
pro-
show.
I think the problem is the grouping of people on Raw right now. They have the talent. Obviously, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte, Asuka. They're all super talented. The problem is that they're together and they're not, except for Asuka. The other three are not extremely likable, I think, to the fans at points. Like fans do like Charlotte Flair, but they also like her as they like her as a heel. They like to boo her. They like to put her against their baby faces. So when she's a face, it's just kind of weird to me. Like she's the face in this situation with her dad being a terrible dad, and it's weird. So I like when Charlotte's the heel, and I think that's the main issue is like she shouldn't be the baby face, like most times. But yeah, so I was saying, oh, actually, let's just stay consistent here. Who do you have winning for the men's Royal Rumble? Is it still Daniel Bryan? How confident are you in that answer too?
I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan. I think for me, it's Daniel Bryan, Keith Lee, or Adam Cole. Those are the three options. I don't see a swerve there. I think it's one of those three men. I'm still gonna lead Daniel Bryan. I think Adam Cole is second, and then like Keith Lee has the outside chance.
Yeah, I could definitely see any of those three men winning. Um, Obviously, if someone like a CM Punk is in this Royal Rumble, he's probably gonna win. But I just don't see it right now. We talked about Punk a little bit before. I don't think that that's how they're gonna go. Like I don't think that is how they would bring him back. But I mean, I really don't know. I think that's one of the bright spots. I guess that you could make of all of this is that usually people like spoil these things. Now everybody's in Florida. Like everybody in American wrestling is in Florida, right? Like that's where they do AEW. That's where they do WWE. So and there's no like mass amount of people like going to the Royal Rumble, right? Because the Royal Rumble is usually this big event. It's held in a baseball field, and 70,000 people might get in and see the Royal Rumble. So you happen to be at the airport the same time that the Undertaker is arriving, and then you tweet it that the Undertaker is going to be in the Royal Rumble, right? That's
Yeah,
not going to happen this year. So if we get a surprise, it's very likely, like very, very likely, that the surprise holds
yeah.
until the music drops, which will be one of the cool things. But I just don't know who that surprise would be, and that's good. Like I'm good with that. I don't want to know. I don't want
I
to see
think
spoilers.
I think Brock's another guy you gotta at least have on the radar.
Absolutely. There were words that him and Vince weren't getting along or whatever. I don't believe any of that. Like every time Vince just puckers up the money and pays Brock, I could absolutely see Brock, if he's in the Rumble, winning the entire Rumble. And then what, McIntyre or Roman? We've seen it all before.
I'd
So
imagine he runs it back with Drew if that was the case, but who knows?
anyway,
Or
the last thing I
Goldberg.
want to talk
He
about,
wants to fight Goldberg again, you know?
maybe, oh God, no, please God, no. The last thing I want to talk about, I mentioned it before, is the long man. Who you got as the long man in this Rumble? So now we have a list of 30 for the women, a list of 30 for the men. Who is entering at the 1 or 2 slot and staying in until at least like 2025?
This is the Dolph role. Like Seth can do it.
The Chris Jericho, the Dolph
I
Ziggler,
think I
that
think
guy who's like 6 foot tall, 210 pounds, and just can go.
I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan. Um, he's gonna be very prominent in this Rumble, whether he wins it or not. So My idea is he'll either enter like 1 or 3 or whatever, and like he'll go mad long, and like he'll either win it or he'll last like 45 minutes.
Okay. For me, I kind of like the idea of Seth Rollins coming back and being the long guy.
Is he turning face in this scenario?
If he wins, he is. If he somehow manages to win, I don't think he would return and win. I don't really know. Like he hasn't been out that long. Like you know what I mean? Like he could, like if he was out for a year and then came back, like it doesn't matter. Face heel doesn't matter. They could turn him however they want. But he hasn't been gone for that long. Like what? It's been 2, maybe 3 months by the time he gets back. You know, so
I think they're afraid to turn him face after the last time, but if we get a face Seth versus a heel Roman at Mania, that's gonna be crazy.
yeah, I mean that would be really entertaining. Like really, really entertaining. I don't think in the slightest that they should stop themselves from doing that, but I guess we don't know what their decision might be. But I really like the idea of Seth Rollins, but Riddle I thought would have been a great point, like a great spot for this, but you're right, he's in that match before, so they're probably not going to make him the long man this year. The Miz is always a possibility to just be the heelish Miz, like he's done it before, so he could do something like that. But if I'm choosing,
Ricochet could definitely do it too.
I was about to say Ricochet. If I'm choosing somebody, I think I'm just going to go with the Raw version of Daniel Bryan, who is AJ Styles. Um, I don't think he's going to win, but I think it's important that he has a good showing just to keep up the fact that he's a dominant, person on the roster. He enters one. He's one of the last five people there, and he just gets eliminated by the winner.
You know what I actually could see? If AJ, like,
What's that?
I don't know if he's gonna win. Winning seems far fetched, but like, I feel like he gets thrown over like 5 times and almost catches him every time and puts him back in.
It definitely would be entertaining to see almost just like rebounding AJ Styles every time he
Like
got
every
thrown.
time he just catches him and throws him back in. Like, I don't know if he would win it, but I think that's definitely a scenario that's gonna play out in this match.
A callback to Mandy and Otis, like AJ just lands on
Yeah.
Almost's chest, like he like lifts him up in the air and puts him back in the ring. No, yeah, no, I'm expecting that to happen at least once. Like at least once, you got to see Almost like grab AJ and throw him back into the ring.
I'm trying to think like who would he probably doesn't win, but like he could. AJ could win this match.
AJ could win if AJ won at the end. I don't think he's going to. Like I don't think, but like he
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't make sense to have him go against Drew, which he just did, or Roman, and the story's not there.
Yeah. Randy Orton's another guy who's in this match where it's like, yeah, he could win, but he's probably not gonna win. Like he's like the same thing as AJ, where it's like you've seen that match before, like you
This
see
feels like the Fiend like pulls him out of the
that's
match.
fine. There would be a cool like little homage, like to their story. I just don't know. Are we doing this till WrestleMania? Are we doing the Fiend and Randy Orton till WrestleMania at this point? Like, are we locked in on that, or is it almost over? What's the
I don't
end?
know. I don't know if I said it to you, but I kind of think like if Edge is coming back, it's going to be Edge, Fiend, Randy, triple threat. Because
Yeah, you had that in your fantasy booking WrestleMania.
okay, because I don't know if there's more. There's not really more to tell with a singles match between Randy and Edge. But like if you add the Fiend in, like I feel like there's a whole other chapter to this. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool. It'd be really interesting to see how they decided to like throw Edge into that storyline or throw the Fiend into that storyline. I don't know who's the throw in at that point. You know what I mean? Because Randy's been feuding with both of them for so long.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you know what I would love if we were both right and AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan both came out. They came out 1-2. I think that would be awesome because they've done that before where there's like two long guys. The Jericho and Dolph did it once, I believe. I think it was Jericho and
Yeah.
Dolph. Yeah, so
That was when Jericho returned. He like came back after like
yeah,
that long. Yeah.
and that was really, really good. They were both really good. Dolph has come in like every single number of the Royal Rumble at this point in his career. We've seen him in the middle. We've seen him at 30. We've seen him at 1. So he's another guy that could do it. And then just going over the women really quickly. Long man for the women or long woman for the women.
They did Sasha last year, or was that 2 years ago?
Um,
I don't know, but I'm trying to think.
Bianca has the record for the women's elimination from last year.
That's pretty
So
crazy.
They actually started building her, and then they were like, "Nah," and then they're like, "Wait, no, we
All
actually
right,
have to."
so they'll have
Like, she's
Charlotte.
actually really, really good.
Charlotte's gonna break Bianca's record, but she won't win the match. um, all right, that's my prediction here. Charlotte breaks Bianca's record, but does not win the match. Long women. Let's go. That could be Ruby. Not Ruby. That could be Liv. I guess it could be Ruby too.
I want to see. I want to see again. I love when I love when the first two people in last like the whole entire rumble and like get down to those last five. Not necessarily that they have to win, but I love like that story that's been building the whole time. It's like, oh, this person's exhausted and they're throwing people over. So I hope it's two women too. And I think it would be really cool if you put one of those NXT women in the spotlight and one of the and Adam Cole's another guy who, if he's in it, maybe two, maybe lasts the entirety of the match.
That'd be interesting. That'd be really cool, actually.
But for the Raw women, I think Candice LeRae would actually be perfect in this spot.
The thing is, like,
so good.
Is she good?
She's been so good. She's been entertaining on in
yes,
promos.
but like, is she a good wrestler? Can she?
Oh yeah, no, the War Games match, she was phenomenal. I thought she was such a bright spot in the War Games, and like she definitely has that ability to go this whole time.
Okay.
I
mean, like
Ruby Wyatt, another one.
safe.
Bailey's 100%. Shotzi Blackheart, Io Shirai.
And like Bianca could do it too.
Bianca could do it again.
I don't want to say Bianca because I picked Bianca to win. I picked Daniel Bryan to win. So I'll say this is tricky. Who are you going with?
It's not easy because the women don't the women, at least on the main roster, they still don't get the time that the men do. Some of the main event matches do, but again, those are the people that we keep talking about: Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Like those people we know can go, but we don't know if they're going to be in this spot. Shayna Baszler is another one. She could enter number one and just eliminate 100 people.
That would be terrible. Nikki Cross is another good one.
Nikki Cross, yes, that is a good one.
You know what? I'm gonna go Peyton. Peyton Royce is the long woman.
That would be really cool. Everyone's been saying she's underrated, and you know what? I tend to probably agree with them, but I have not seen enough from Peyton Royce, and that's not her fault.
Let's start this off with Peyton 1, Billy 2. Let's have some fun.
That would actually be a lot of fun, and then I'm pretty sure Peyton would throw her over like very kind of quick.
Yeah, but like it'd be goofy and funny and silly. It'd be good.
Be really cool. What if like Lacey Evans came in and they officially broke up that partnership by having Peyton and Billy Kay like throw over Lacey? I think that would be really funny.
Lacey's awesome, and now she's the heel stepmother of Charlotte Flair, and I'm just done.
Would you classify her as still awesome, even though she's Charlotte Flair's stepmom at the current?
I don't know.
You could pass. You could pass.
I gotta wait to see how the story plays out. Maybe it turns the corner and becomes the best story on Raw. It's not hard to become the best story on Raw. You just need like a little bit of like entertainment.
I think right now, best story on Raw might be like Mustafa Ali versus Ricochet. Like at least
I'm not gonna argue that. I'm trying to think.
Consistent. It's a consistent story.
It's the same shit every week. It's consistent. Every week they beat him up and say join. He says no, and they do it again the next week. So yeah,
it's consistent. They want him to join. He doesn't want to join.
I don't know what Nia, Shayna, Asuka are even doing. I have no idea. It's probably Matt Riddle's stoner gimmick, right? That's probably the best.
I was about to say Matt Riddle versus Lashley has been entertaining.
It's not even that part of it. It's like him backstage, like talking about how he's high all the time, but like
I love the ideas, the bro nuts.
The Keith Lee stuff is brutal. With Sheamus.
I like Keith Lee's promos, but they're always bad. Does that make sense?
I mean, like
I like the way he talks, but I feel like they make him like to be like this corny dude.
All jokes aside, it's probably like Randy Alexa Fiend, but even that, it's like, it's just kind of like, is she alive? Did she get burned alive this week? I don't know. Raw's really bad.
Do you think we get a last chance battle royal on the pre-show before? I love those.
To get into the Royal Rumble?
Yeah. Like one year it was like Rhino and Heath Slater like won their way in like a tag team match. Like I love that.
That's fun.
Like
That'd be cool.
None of these people have any chance to win it, but like you're kind of interested in who's getting in. I love that.
That'd be cool. Hopefully.
So we're 3 weeks out, and we only have 6 confirmed women and 5 confirmed men. So really, we actually had to get. I kept holding this back, this show that we were gonna do, to try and like give us like 10, 15 people confirmed. No, WWE was having none of it. You will not know who's in the Royal Rumble until the Royal Rumble.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I like it too. So next week we are going to recap Raw, SmackDown, maybe some NXT, depending on what we're seeing down there. Going into our prediction show the week after, and also next week, as a little fun little segment, we will rate the last 15 Royal Rumbles. So we'll do from 2005 to 2020. That's pretty much in our wheelhouse of watching. I'm pretty sure I
Let's
can
do last 10.
last 10. Okay, that's fair. Let's do the last 10. So we will go from 2010 to 2020, and we will do the last decade of Royal Rumbles. We will rate them by overall match and winner, and we'll take everything into account, and we'll just have like an overall list of 1 through 10 for you guys, and we will compare, and we will talk about the winners of those matches and what we
I'm gonna
liked
have
and
to
what we didn't.
rewatch all of them. It's kind of fun.
I was about to say this next week I'm going to be heavy on rewatching all of the Royal Rumbles because I want to know every elimination from every match. Um,
Take notes and stuff. It'll be fun.
yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like, oh, Undertaker eliminated Shawn Michaels here. Remember when Undertaker could eliminate Shawn Michaels and didn't need a walker to do that? That was a lot of fun.
Nah.
We're gonna have stuff like that to talk about.
All right, send us out before you discredit the Undertaker's good name.
I'm not discrediting the Undertaker. He's just old. That's it. People
You'll be
grow
old.
old.
You'll be old one day too.
I was gonna say I will get old one day and need a walker to eliminate
And
Shawn Michaels from
you're
the
still
Royal
gonna try to
Rumble.
do this show when you're washed
Right?
up and you shouldn't
So
be doing it anymore.
we might be washed up now, honestly.
Oh,
We might be in our Undertaker years right now in our 20s.
people love my negativity towards Raw.
That's true. You are. It's a good thing I'm here because if not, this would just be Mark talking into a microphone about how terrible everything. I kind of reel him back.
It's just Raw is the worst product of all time.
Raw has not been great lately, but I am confident that they will not turn it around.
Not great lately is like so generous.
You know what? There are people that work on this show. They don't work particularly hard or work particularly well, but they are working to
I
produce
blame
the
Vince. I
show.
don't
And I
blame
don't.
him. They write the show, and then an hour before, Vince rips it in half and says, "Do it again."
I've heard a lot of stories about Vince just tearing things up like right beforehand lately. Like we know he did it, but like it seems like every episode now. But yeah, okay. Thank you guys for watching. If you think that we completely missed the mark on somebody, we would love to hear. Like you idiots, you completely forgot Ryback was definitely going to come back for this Royal Rumble. Hopefully, you're not saying Ryback because that's wrong. But just an example I'm using. So let us know if we missed anything or missed anybody that you think is like definitely 100% going to be in this Royal Rumble. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Enjoy Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and that's it.